5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action!
Greetings, beautiful people. It's your alcotrician, Atum Dre of Alkaline Gourmet. I'm here in New York, here to share my story of my journey of going through life to growing through life, to where I got to travel with Dr. Sebi. Our mentor, our ancestors, however you want to look at it, it was a beautiful walk of life. And like most people, I started off in the environment of being conditioned. You know, I went to school and I wanted to be a doctor or a scientist. But something pushed me away from school in the 11th grade and I dropped out. Didn't understand why. Still trying to find myself. You know, didn't have a father. My father figure, didn't have a father figure. So I'm still trying to find out who I am, but only know half of me because I'm only with my mother. So, you know, I developed a lot of anger, you know, just like most young kids, not knowing who they are, especially half of who they are, because most of us are not growing up with two parents in their home. So, you know, it's my journey of going through life. Like I said, I dropped out of school. I got into the streets and to find out that I didn't want to be there, but I did it because that was what my environment had surrounded me into thinking that what I was supposed to do by any means necessary was to value a dollar, not to value life. I didn't understand none of that yet, okay? So as I'm going through life, I drop out of school. I began to enter into what most of us think we should be in our environment, the entertainment world. You know, I entered into the entertainment world because I thought that that's what I was supposed to be. It was only my passion, but not my purpose. Not understanding that there was a difference between the two. So I'm going full-fledged. I got to be in this music business. I got to do this. I got to do this. But yet, I never did the three proper things: plan, strategize, and execute. I just executed. And you know why I just executed? Because I came up with the slave mentality. If you ever think about the slaves on a plantation, whenever they seen a chance for so-called freedom, they would take off running. And master would do what? Bow! But if you look at some of the so-called successful ones, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, the reason why they were so-called successful is because they planned, they strategized, and then they executed. So, like most, I developed the execution mentality. I had money, you understand? I ended up getting money from the street, you know, not proud of it, but I did it. And I became successful at it by the definition because I had millions by the time I was 22. So at that age, young, I thought I knew a lot, but yet I knew nothing. And I'm going to share it with you why I didn't know anything, okay? I had all this money. Now, this was in 1995, okay? Doing the music. I hook up with my brother from another mother. Most of you know him as Allen Iverson, who played for the Philadelphia 76ers, aka Bubba Chuck. We had a plan. Either he would get on with the music, with the basketball first, or we would get on with the music first, and we would so-called support each other, or not take care, but support each other until the next person did what they were supposed to do. You understand? So, in this journey, we are in he went to Georgetown. So we are up in Washington, D.C. We're going to a studio. And the guy house that we used to go to, his name was Todd. Go there all the time. Todd was a great, great brother. Showed us so much love. While Chuck, as soon as he got pro, he dealt with a lot of celebrities, government officials. He was a great guy. Everybody knew him. So we used to go to his house a lot. And on this particular visit, I remember it like yesterday. We coming up to his house to go to the studio because he had a studio in his basement. So we come in, and he introduced us to. There's a man standing there, and he has on a t-shirt and some pants, but he has a table full of herbs. And Todd said, "This is Alfredo Bowman, Dr. Sebi." Told us what he did. But let me remind you, I was only 20, and I only valued $1. I wasn't valuing life yet. So when I seen this man, Dr. Sebi, standing here looking like a regular person should, but yet he didn't look successful to me because I had got conditioned to value $1. So I didn't value what that man said at the time. Excuse me. I listened to him for maybe 7 minutes and went on to the studio. But the seed got planted. And just like in life, it takes some seeds time for it to grow. So as I'm still going through life, I'm paying attention to my grandparents, okay? I'm watching them because I didn't have a father. My grandfather was the so-called man of the house, okay? So I'm watching them, and as I'm looking at him to see what the definition of a man is, I understood that there was two things that I was shown. I was shown a provider, and I was shown a man, okay? And I'm explaining to you the reason why I call it a provider. When I seen my grandfather showing me what I thought was a man, and the only reason why I say that is because I've been taught, and as I've been shown, as I've started to grow through life, that all you have as a man is your word. And once you give your word, that's your everything. So as I'm on this journey of trying to find out who I am, I noticed that my grandfather, he cheated on my grandmother, who he had married, right? So, as I'm watching this, that stopped in my eyes my grandfather as being a man. That separated him to being just Mr. Provider. Because when he took those so-called vows, he told her that she was the only one, instead of saying that she was the only one of many. So, as I'm seeing this, they have 4 kids, 3 daughters, 1 son. And these 3 daughters, they watched this, they seen this. And they also got from this is what a woman is supposed to go through. Because my grandmother didn't go anywhere. She didn't go anywhere. And as a son, my uncle, he sees the same thing. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do as a man and be able to get away with it. So that kind of threw me off as what the definition of a so-called real man was, because I was confused. So, I'm still continuing going through life. And I'm watching my grandmother and them, who went to church 3 and 4 times a week. I promise you. We come up most people as Christians. And my grandmother and my grandfather became ill. I'm talking about like out of nowhere. My grandfather had, I think, congestive heart failure, prostate cancer, high blood pressure, and Alzheimer's. My grandmother had diabetes, colon cancer, dementia. So I watched all of this occur. I'm watching it because I love them. They was our foundation. They was our backbone. So as I'm watching them not being able to take care of themselves no more, they worked so hard. I watched them. They took care of themselves, and then they took care of us. So not to be able to enjoy that bothered me. I'm like, wow, you really mean to tell me that this is what life is supposed to be about? So my mother was a nurse, and she was the nurse that took care of them. So I'm watching all of this. She's taking care of them. I'm talking about, oh man, like clockwork. When my grandmother and my grandfather went through their transition, my mother's health starts to go down. She ended up falling, victim to the whole thing of the drugs, and we come from a low income housing, like most people, and watching that woman go through that, I'm not judging, I'm just telling you about my life experience. Watching that woman go through that, like, I knew it was part of a project. Once I understood that, I didn't hold my mother accountable. I just said, I have to help my mom. You understand? I didn't give up on her. I just stayed in her life, trying to, better her situation. And we grew a bond. But like most children, I still was seeking love, meaning not knowing who I am still as a whole. And that's the whole thing about life. We never get things in this wholeness. We get things half truth. And they always say, there's a saying, if you get half the truth, you'll go through life making half-ass choices and half-ass decisions. It's just that simple. And that's what I did. And I'm not faulting myself, faulting my mother, but yet conditioning, when you understand life and understanding life at its simplicity, then you will begin to not judge. And I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect, I'm still working on not judging people, because all you do is create a karma. But going back to my mother, who I didn't have a father, and watching that woman, like Doc said, the biggest testicles I ever seen on a woman, on a person, was my mother. And the reason why I say that is because while she was going through her experiences of life with the drugs, not one time did her children ever become homeless, or never were we hungry. So that's why I look at that woman as like everything. As she was able to transition through those, I ain't gonna say negative experiences, I'm just saying her experiences in life, it taught me a lot of things. So going back to watching her go through life, I start to see that there were things that I didn't want to become, you know. So as me, like I said, going through school, and all I wanted to be was a doctor or scientist, y'all. I'm telling you, that's it. I didn't know nothing else. And when I seen myself not wanting to be in school, it bothered me, because again, I'm not knowing who I am, and I know that I'm supposed to go to school. Everybody's supposed to go to school. And in my family, the last person that dropped out of school was my grandfather. And after that, nobody had dropped out of school but me. And, you know, I'm worrying about what others was thinking, you know, like, wow, I did that. But the only reason I dropped out, it wasn't because I couldn't do the work. You know, I stayed on the honor roll. You know, I had people coming around looking for me, like some of my friends, like, why you in this school, boy? You know, I just didn't understand it. Couldn't tell them why then. Just didn't, felt like I was supposed to be there. So me not being in school, it taught me to go out here and become a so-called man at an early age. So, you know, me doing that, like I said, I went to the streets, and, you know, I sold drugs just like most of us. And I'm grateful that I didn't go to the federal penitentiary. I didn't go to the penitentiary, and I didn't go 6 feet. And a lot of us glorify those who have done that. You see how messed up we are? We'll say someone is the best that ever did it, because I used to think that way. The ones that go to the penitentiary, the ones that are 6 feet deep, that are transitioned. Think about it. If you're in that so-called game, the game is to survive, not to go to jail, not to go 6 feet deep. But we glorify that because we don't value life. You see how much we say, like we say little things like, I love you to death. Because they've taught us to, like, life don't even, if you're not poisoning yourself, because this is what I used to do. You know, like I said, I used to go on shopping sprees, $100,000, $30,000, $50,000 shopping sprees, 4- and 5-star restaurants. And I thought that was living. I really did, you know, because I got conditioned by what I seen on television, like most. And it took a toll on me, you know, just like anything that's, we're not gonna say negative, but that doesn't help you better your life. Let's say that. And once I understood that I had became part of the problem instead of part of the solution, that's when I started to look at myself in the mirror. That's the person I began to judge. Because Michael Jackson said it starts with the man in the mirror. So that's what I started with. So when my mom got sick, going back to my mom being sick, mind you, that's all we have. We only have one mother. So when she got sick, I immediately said, Kale to the gnaw. I said, Kale to the gnaw. And I jumped on the internet. I said, it has to be something else. Because I had just watched my grandmother, I had just watched my grandfather go through that transition. And as I'm watching this woman who used to walk out my house, I used to walk up to the front of my window and watch her walk down the sidewalk. And I would cry. Because I knew that at some point, my mother wasn't going to be here anymore. Because she could hold nothing down. Nothing good comes out of that. That's not life. So, in reality, my mother wasn't going to be here too much longer. So that's when I got on the internet. Mind you, this is 2010. I met Dr. Sebi in 1995. I didn't get on that internet looking for Dr. Sebi. This is how, when Doc said it's the food, because I ain't get up there to look for Dr. Sebi. I just got up there looking for a cure or a natural remedy for my mother to get out of her illnesses. Dr. Sebi pops up. Still, I don't know that that's that man that I met in 1995. Mind you, we're talking about 2010. So I'm listening to this man. I'm watching him for like 3 months. And I get a call from one of my friends after listening to him tell me that all this food that my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother gave me was poison. And I had to know why. Like, why? Like, I understand him telling it, but why? So that's when I furthered my research. And I started looking at the food. So one of my friends called me 3 months later, and he said, Gravy. They used to call me Gravy, because, you know, I kept it, there was always gravy with me. But I tell him that I found it. I said, bro, I got the answer for our culture. This is it. He's like, what you talking about? I said, man, I found the man who has cured 9 illnesses and challenged the Supreme Court. And he won the case. And he said, what's his name? And I said it, Dr. Sebi. So he Googles him while we're on the phone. And he said, Gravy, you don't remember him? And as soon as he said that, the whole picture came. It came back just like it was 95 again. I was like, wow, we met that man in D.C. at Todd's house with Allen Iverson. He said, yeah. I was like, wow. So now I'm excited. I'm like, wow, we met this man. Like, he came into our life for a reason. So January 1st, 2011 was my last time eating the standard American diet. Because once Doc said it was the food, I said, let me give it a 100% chance. Because we always give something 70%, 80%, or 90%. And say, oh, that mess don't work. He or she ain't living up to what they selling. So I said, I'm gonna give it 100%. Because I knew that my mom needed it. And also myself first. Because I was angry. You know, I would go from 0 to 100 quickly and didn't understand it. So that bothered me. Also, at 21, I was going through what Dr. Sebi was going through. What did he say when his wife left him? Impotency. I was going through that at the age of 21. I didn't know what it was. You know, I'm just going through life. Remember, I'm still going through life. So I go to the doctor. You know, they hand me a little blue pill without even testing me. I looked at him. I said, but this is what my granddaddy on. He said, yeah. Unfortunately, some things happen, you know, and things occur. So, you know, I kindly just looked at him and I said, okay, thank you. And I got up and there was a trash can right there. And I dropped the little blue pills in the trash can and I walked on out the door. But keep in mind, I still never fixed the problem. The effect was impotency, erectile dysfunction, however you want to call it. My man too wasn't working. Okay? So, just imagine that at the age of 21. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So when I found Dr. Sebi, and he said that his first wife left him because of that. Oh man, do you understand? That was like he hit home. Because as a man, you're not going to talk about that unless you have a cure for it. You understand? So that's why he was able to talk about it, because he said he had run around the whole entire world looking for a cure for that. That man had high blood pressure, he was overweight, he wore glasses. None of that mattered to Doc. But when that tool stopped working, yeah, buddy, he was a merchant seaman. That's why he was able to travel around the world to try all different methods of healing from different cultures. That's why that man was so crucial to us. He wasn't just talking. He went through it. He went to the Ayurvedic. He went to the microbiome, which is Japanese. He used our method, and it didn't work. And y'all already know the story about the Mexican. So once Doc said that he healed himself from that, oh man. I got January 1st, going back to January 1st, 2011, I ordered my package from Dr. Sebi company in LA. I said, Mom, I got the answer. But I knew that I could not tell her that she needs to be doing something, but yet I got a whole Brontosaurus burger in my hand. She wasn't going to receive the message. So I said, let me do it with her, and don't be a hypocrite. You know, I understand as I'm beginning to grow through life that we do a lot of being a hypocrite. You know, so in 2 weeks, the results were my mother no longer had diabetes. 2.5 months, the stomach ulcer was not identified. I went to the doctor. Once I seen that was it. I knew I wasn't going back. So I made it from that point on, that I would never eat outside of Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide. And it was a challenge. You know, I'm just like most people, everybody, they eat sugar. I was on an addiction, you know, starch, which is complex carbohydrates, protein, which is a complex structure of amino acids. See, everything that we ate, it deals with complex structures, and your body doesn't deal with that. Because life is supposed to be simple or complex. You got it. Simple. So if life is supposed to be simple, why do you think that the structure of food that you consume shouldn't be simple? Okay? So as I began on this journey, I kept saying to myself, I want to help Doc. I don't know how, but I want to add to the foundation that this brother has laid for us, the blueprint back to wellness. So as I'm still, you know, beginning to grow through life now, you know, I'm at the age of 36, that's when I made my transition January the 1st. That's when I began to grow through life. Before I was just going, now I'm growing. So I said, Doc keeps saying it's the food. It's the food. So let me tell you the story. There was a friend of mine. She was a vegan before I became on this path. She was already a vegan. And she knew that I had got on this path. So she said, Dre, you want to go to Whole Foods? It was over in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We hadn't had a Whole Foods. Mind you, I am on my 2nd year with this Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide. On the nutritional guide, Whole Foods. And I think it was Whole Foods and it was one other company, Purity, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think it was Purity. And we got it. I was like, yes. Because mind you, I have this nutritional guide and I'm still eating things individual. I hadn't started creating meals yet. I wasn't known for cooking. I had money. I would buy everything. So I'm still eating for an addiction, so I'm still eating things that I like. You know, trying to get close to back to that addiction. So we go to Whole Foods. We drove 54 miles over, I'll never forget it. 54 miles to that place. I walk inside that place with a basket. Now, as I look at the store as I'm walking in, there's a W and it says whole. I'm excited because everything should be in this wholeness. I go in this store and I walk through the whole entire store only to be able to come out of that store with maybe 5 to 6 items. That bothered me. I mean, from that moment, that bothered me. So I was like, I'm confused. Why Doc got this on this nutritional guide if I can't eat nothing out of here? So I'm riding back home and the girl said, "Ray, what's wrong with you?" Because I was quiet. And I shared it. I don't understand why I can't get out of this place, but it's on his nutritional guide. And right then, the ancestor spoke. And it was something that Doc had said. It said, and which was Doc that said it. It was his voice. It said, "Young man, you're a silverback gorilla, but you're still waiting on a polar bear to feed you." Just that simple. I said, wow. So that day, I made it my business to get approved. I know a lot of people don't give too much love for the FDA or Department of Agriculture, but I made it my business to get approved by the FDA using Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide. They gave me all kinds of, BS. Hell. Every time I came with my paper, they always told me, yeah, but you gotta do this. And I was getting frustrated, but then I caught myself because I'm starting to get more control. And I said, you're right, I'll be right back. And I come back, tell me the same thing. They did this for 6 months. To the point they said, he's not gonna stop. Why should I? I'm bringing you everything that you're asking for. I just want to be approved to put products in the store for my culture. Okay, I got approved. So now I am in this kitchen, I am cooking. I'm creating little meals. At the beginning, oh man, it did not taste good at all. But I did know this, I wasn't going backwards. So I ate it. And it showed me what not to do the next time I fixed this. Because I wasn't throwing it away, it took too much time. So I was hungry one day for a breakfast patty. And going to Whole Foods, I seen that it was nothing but soy. Dr. Sebi had, the only bean on his guide was the garbanzo bean. So I created a breakfast patty. Not knowing what I was doing at the time, because I didn't do it for that purpose. I just was fiending for a breakfast patty. I used to love me some turkey sausages from Cracker Barrel, okay? Yes, I did. A whole carnival. So I created this patty, and then I began to let people taste it. And they would tell me it was good. I'm not buying into this because I'm not known for cooking. So I'm thinking that they're just telling me because I'm their friend or they don't want to hurt my feelings. But they kept saying, you got something. You got this, like, it tastes just like a breakfast patty. Okay. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make it a product. So I made it a product. And I named it after my only daughter. That was my first child, Anila. So I said, this is my first product. So I named it after her, Anila's alkaline breakfast patty. And you can find them on my website, www.alkalinegourmet.biz, and you can see for yourself. And once I created it, I didn't, again, remember we was talking about earlier about those three things: plan, strategize, execute. I just executed. Here's this patty, I'm gonna make it. Give me some packagings, and I did it. So I'm making the product, and this is in 2013. No, 2012. 2012. Because I played with it for about a year, and I started selling it, and then I became the first breakfast patty made out of garbanzo beans to go in the store. I didn't know I did it at the time. You know, I didn't do it for that purpose. I just did it because I wanted a breakfast patty, like I said before. So I ended up I'm so excited now because I'm helping Dr. Sebi's office with consultations, if you want to call it. You know, I'm just excited about this, man. I'm sending a lot of people to the office, you know, I'm just excited, promoting them, you know. Why not? This man is the truth. He's not pushing a product that is false. So, you know, I lived it, I tried it, and it worked. So I said, okay. So as I'm doing the consultations, helping people, you know, understand it better from from the knowledge that I had at the time, just to help out the office a little bit, simply because I understood that there was a lot, the whole world was calling that one place. So again, I'm still trying to find out how I can help assist Doc, because I know he needed the help. I'm not saying that he was looking for it, but I'm just saying I understood it, you know. So I said, okay, I can at least do that. I wasn't looking for anything. That's our brother. He won the court case. He's not afraid. That's what made me, you know, do what I did for Doc, you know, and for myself as well. The world needed to hear this. So I began to speak about him, you know, promoting them, you know, talking about them. And one day I sent some breakfast patties to the LA office because I was excited. I told them I made it, you know, shipped it overnight. They got it. And I asked the office manager at the time, did Doc get them? Did he highly like them? She said, yeah, he got them. You know, he loved them. I said, okay, cool. So, mind you, I'm helping. This was Dr. Sebi's family at the time. You know, this is before the office transitioned over to who runs it now. Me helping the LA office with consultations, I got closer with the office manager. Her name was Nina. You know, I'm excited. We talking, we building. You know, like I said, I'm excited to help them. You know, and I'm helping bring more clientele. I'm helping bring in promoting Doc. You know, it's just a beautiful thing. It's all for the love, because this man needs to be heard. So I'm dealing with Jade. She was one of the people who would answer the phone. So I was sending, building a relationship with her, and we talking a lot. She answered my calls, answered some questions for me, and I would send, again, like I said, I'm sending people to her. So then everybody know that a situation occurred with Doc and that staff that ran that office at the time. And, I was right there. I was there. I was lost. I was confused. Because I'm like, how would someone do this to Dr. Sebi? And why? So, at the time, I ended up speaking with Nina. Right after it happened. When they took everything out, And I called the number, because that's the only number I had. I called and she answered. But she was in a rage. She was in a rage. So I said, just answer this question. I don't care about nothing else. I just need to just answer this one question. Why did you do that? And you know what her response was? That motherfucker can't keep promising us shit. He ain't no good. He just gonna tell you a bunch of lies. No, I listened to it. But then I thought about it. You've been with him for a long time. Why all of a sudden? You never said none of this to me when I first started helping you guys. So why all of a sudden this? So whatever your choice was, that person or that individual has to answer for it. You understand? So as the office is transitioning, Jenny takes over. She becomes the office manager. The day that it happened, me and Jenny talking. I can't remember how. Oh yeah, because I told her I used to help the LA office. The people before, and me and her, we kind of grew a bond, And right when it happened, they created another website. So I said to Jenny, I said, wouldn't it make sense for Doc to do a video saying what happened and this is his new website? Because she was worried about people going to the old website or people not knowing this address. So hearing it from the horse's mouth himself, the video was up. He was in Honduras. The video was up in less than 10 minutes. So not looking for nothing. It was just the right thing to do. It's simple. I got a new page. Not you saying it, not her saying it, put himself up there because of what just happened. So nobody would think it was bogus, So that happened. And I'm doing the same thing for Jenny, helping her. And I ended up growing a relationship with my two girls, man, like Yadanas and Yesenia. They were so much like sweethearts. I'm talking about they would answer all my questions. We would laugh, talk, handle business. And again, I'm not looking for nothing. They're not giving me anything because I'm not looking for nothing. I'm just trying to help out this situation flow better. You understand? Because I knew that it was all new to them. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit of what I used to do with them, the family. So I shared it with them. So in that, this is 2014. I get a call. No. 2014. I haven't talked to Doc yet. I haven't met him yet since 95. I'm asleep. I didn't get a call, I'm asleep. This 5 o'clock, maybe 4:30 in the morning. I'm in Virginia. I get a shove in my back. And I jumped up. I mean, the shove was so real that I reached for my gun that was on my dresser. It was so real. I'm like, what was that? What, something just touched me. And then right after that, the voice said, call Dr. Sebi. Mind you, I only have the LA office number. That's how I had him stored in my phone, LA office. Yeah, I had Dr. Sebi's office. So I'm ready to go back and lay back down and go to sleep. I said, man, I'm not calling this number. But then I looked at that phone before I laid down, and I reached and grabbed it. I'm still sitting up in the bed, and I dialed it. Phone ringing. About the third ring. Hello? I say, Dr. Sebi. I knew that voice anywhere from listening to all them hours of the YouTube. He said, yeah, man. I said, Doc, you're not going to believe what just happened. So I explained to him what just happened. So he said, wow. I said, Doc, I know you probably don't remember me. I said, but I met you in 95 at Todd House with Allen Iverson. He said, yeah, I remember y'all. Just like that. He said, guess who I'm with now? Mind you, he's in California. He said, guess who I'm with right now? I said, who? He said, Todd. He said, we're going to go to Mexico. He said, we're going to work together. I said, man, y'all have a great trip, and I'll talk to you soon. That was it. Okay, fast forward. 2014, maybe, this was maybe April, May. And I'll say, no, this is May. I get a call from a young lady in DC and asks me to cook for Dr. Sebi. Did I want to cook for Dr. Sebi? I said, huh? I said, it would be an honor. It would be my pleasure. I've been trying to get to cook for Doc. She said, well, now you got your chance. And she said, I would like you to do a little speaking. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm excited. Like, I get to meet Doc, and, you know, so the day come. It was June 21st. I think it was summer solstice. 22nd or the 21st. It was in DC. And we got to spend about 3 or 4 hours with Doc. I'm so excited to be around this man's energy that I didn't record nothing. Okay? My brother took a picture of me and Doc. And that was it. Because I already know at this point now that I'm going to be working with Doc. Just from that situation that happened when I got that shove. Everything is nothing by coincidence. So I knew that I was going to be working with him. So I really didn't think like, okay, that was my last chance of seeing Doc. But I know I still should have got it. I know, shame on me. I know. But as I'm leaving that event, we ended up going to hang out at Todd House. Hung out for about 2 or 3 more hours. And after that, I had someone come up to me at the event and taste one of my breakfast patties. And he said, this reminded me of something I would make. He said, man, I want to do business with you. I said, okay, cool. That's what's up. So he said, talk to me after your event, give it a couple of days and we exchange numbers and, yada, yada, yada. So I ended up giving him a call and we ended up talking and, ended up becoming partners. We ended up saying that we was going to go around because he was on the same page as I was. I wanted to go around and wherever Doc spoke at, I wanted to set up cooking classes to show people how to prepare the meals. Because the LA office was just sending out nutritional guides because I got one. And nobody showed you how to put this food together and make it meals. So I said, and he said, yeah, let's do that. So we started doing that. So this was 2015. Dr. Sebi, I see him getting ready to be in Atlanta, Georgia. I said, there you got a chance again. So we're going to set up a cooking class, after the event, like we said we was going to do. And I ended up speaking to Mr.G. And he called me, him and one of his partners. And he's like, man, I like what you're doing. He said, I'm gonna put y'all name on the flyer. Went up there like he said, kept his word. Still don't know who the brother is yet, but he kept his word. So we on the flyer. We was on the flyer for one day. The next day, we come off the flyer. I was like, huh? So Mr.G, I called him and asked him, I said, I thought you said we could be on the flyer. He said, yeah. He said, it was out of my control. He said, I got a call to remove y'all off the flyer. And we ain't go no further than that. He said, my bad, man, He said, but we still can work together. That's fine. He said, y'all still coming down to the thing? Yeah, boom. He said, y'all won't have no problems, just call me, let me know, y'all at the door, and boom. Kept his word. I come in. Well, me and my partner, we come in. He walked straight up to me. I mean, like it was yesterday. He said, what my partner did was messed up. He said, how can I help you now? He said, how can I help you right now? And I looked at him. I say, because he could have acted like that it was just it and that was it. And he let us in the event and that was it. Because he kept his word. So I said, well, we got a cooking class after the show. Could you announce the cooking class? He said, that's it? I said, yeah. So he said, let me go give it to Udonis. Mind you, I'm only talking to Udonis and Yesenia on the phone. I never met them. We never met. I said, wait. I said, Udonis here? He said, yeah. I said, which one is she? He pointed to her. I said, watch this. I run up to her. Well, I ain't run up to her. I just walk up to her and I hand her my card. She said, I like me! Gave me a hug. So G is watching all of this. So she said, oh my God, let me go tell Yesenia. I said, wait a minute. Which one is she? She go over there. I went and did the same exact thing to Yesenia. Handed her a card. She said, I like me! Hug, boom, boom, boom. So, mind you, my brother is seeing this. So not right after the event, I say maybe 2 days, G called me. He said, y'all need to be with Doc. He said, you need to be, well, he said, y'all. He said, y'all need to be with Doc, man. Like what y'all doing, you know, is dope. And y'all need to be with Doc. He said, I want to set up a meeting. He said, but I want to do it in Honduras. He said, because so Doc will be distracted. You know, no distract. He said, I know Doc. He said, I just wanted to be in his environment. I said, okay, cool. I had never been to Honduras. Matter of fact, I had never left the country. I had all that money. I had not left the country. So everything happened for a reason, okay? So my partner tells me that he had been with Doc. You know, he had been cooking for him and this, that, and the third. And he said he had a house, you know, he had sold his house in, I think it was Texas or whatever, and moved to Honduras. I said, okay. He said, cool. He said, we ain't got to worry about nothing, you know. He said, man, you know, this is where I want to be, you know. Okay, cool. All right. We got a place over there. Cool. So we book our flights for the meeting. The day come. It was in April. I'll never forget. My partner was supposed to book his flight, and I'm going to book my flight. Okay, cool. The day of me getting ready to leave Virginia to go to Honduras, out the country for the first time in my life, I called my partner, and he says, he not coming today. He said, I'm going to be about 2 days behind. Huh? Wait a minute. I'm going to stay with you. What you mean you're going to be 2 days behind? So immediately I said, all right, I just hang up on him. I immediately called G because I'm literally about to board the plane. I said, G, I can't come. He said, why not? And I told him what just happened. He said, Atum, get on the plane. I said, nah, G. He said, Atum, he said it to me 6 times. Atum, get on the plane. He said, you can come stay with me. I said, nah, G. The only reason why I said no, because I know he's a genuine dude now, or brother, but I knew he had planned for it. That's the only reason why I was saying no. He said, Atum, get on the plane. After he said it the last time, I felt it. I got on the plane. He had his driver pick me up. I get to, well, you know, I went to a sightseeing, and I get to G's house. And he invited me in. Talking, cooking, cleaning out his kitchen, cleaning out the cabinets. And I remember G saying to me, he said, Atum, you know, Easter is celebrated a week here. I said, huh? Ain't a day. He said, no, everything shut down. I said, because I travel with my kitchen. When I came, this is the first time I ever did it. And from there, I used that method from here on out. I took my whole kitchen to Honduras. And, you know, so I said, any fruit stands open? It's like stands open? He said, yeah. I said, I'm good. So mind you, he watching me for 2 weeks. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, Tom. He said, yeah, Doc need energy around him. Like, he said he need energy like that around him. He said, do you know you're more disciplined than Dr. Sebi? And I said, yeah, that's why I'm here. Not to take away from G, not to take away from Doc. That's just what I knew of myself. That was one of my attributes, discipline. So I wanted to bring that to the foundation because I understood that Doc was the highest vibration that was around him. So he was helping others vibrate higher. So he needed that. He needed a break. Not saying that's why I came here, but I'm just saying everything happens for a reason. So we get the meeting. Well, before I get the meeting, my partner comes in 2 days later. He shows up at the house. But I'm confused because he said he had to wait to get some keys for another house. Right there, that was a flag. Because he told me he owned the house. He had sold his stuff and bought a house. He said he bought a house. That means you own it. Okay. We had nowhere to stay. G, out of the kindness of his heart and the man that he is, because before G set that meeting up, he asked us, he said, do any one of y'all have any problems with Doc? I didn't know why he asked that, but that's the first thing he asked. And I said, no. And my partner said, no. He said, because I don't want to be, setting up something and you already got a problem with them and I'm bringing the enemy to the house. No, I just cooked for him, G. I just cooked for him in D.C. Doc knows me. My partner says, yeah, man, I was at the village. I cooked for him. I stayed at the village for about 5 months and 4 or 5 months. Okay, cool. So we stand at G house, waiting for Doc to come back home. So when Doc get back home, we didn't go immediately. Matter of fact, before my partner got there, I had made some brownies because I had wanted some damn weed to smoke. And G went down there to get some from Doc for me, and he came back with a whole goddamn grocery bag. Okay? Listen to me, not a Ziploc bag. He came back with a grocery bag. Food Lion, Walmart. Okay. Like, I guess I'm moving to Honduras then. Because this is enough for you not to go nowhere. Okay? So he told me, Doc, like edibles. I was like, okay, sure, I got them. Made some brownies, sent them down there. I hadn't went down there, G went down there, but mind you, I had been to the village, but I just never had went into the house yet. I had to meet him. When I experienced it, beautiful. I got a video up there talking about it on G's page, Mr. G's photo, well, I said Mr. G photo, on Mr. G's YouTube channel. And I'm gonna have it on mine as well, Alcatricia, all right? So, G come back and say, Doc love him. He love him. I said, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So I know G ain't just gonna tell me anything. So now my partner shows up. Okay, we cooking, we doing little things, we talking, building with the family, his family, G, and waiting for this day, this moment. It comes. We get to the village. We walk in. We go upstairs. I'm amazed. I'm amazed because of this house. I'm amazed at the love that G receives, was receiving from the village. I mean, pull up, he didn't have to make a call, just open the gate. And I was like, wow. And just listening to his story and the amount of time that bond with him and Doc occurred, that was so amazing to me. But yet, I knew it was authentic because it was supposed to happen. We go upstairs, following G walk in the room. Doc is in the bed, but he's not asleep. You know, everybody think Doc be sleeping because he's in the bed. No, Doc knows the importance of rest. Okay, so he just in bed with his little joints around him. You know, he about 2 or 3 on roll. And this is Doc. Mr.G goes to sit on the windowsill. My partner is on the right side. I'm right here on the left. And G introduced him to us. You know, we introduced, you know, he said, he looked at, he comes to me first. He looked at me. He said, "How can I help you, young man?" I said, "You remember me from?" He said, "Yeah, I remember you, you know, from DC." I said, "I always said I wanted to work with you, Doc, so I just wanted to know if I could be of assistance of being able to travel with you and cook at your lectures." He looked at me. He said, "Okay." He goes over to this side. He said, "How can I help you?" My partner literally got maybe 3 or 4 words out of his mouth. And that man went smooth the fuck off. Do you understand me, y'all? I'm talking about, I'm watching not just an 80-year man. I mean, he had a joint in his hand and he was shaking that he was cussing this man out so hard. He said, "Motherfucker, you think I don't remember you? You gonna come back up in here?" At this point, my attention looks towards to G. G is in the windowsill like, just like, I mean, we both had the same look on our face. I said, "Fuck." So he said, "No," my partner said, "No, Doc, that ain't how it went." He said, can you give me a chance to explain?" That man said, "Motherfucker, no, I'm done." I got my bag. I said, I didn't even know if I wanted to speak, but I had this out of, because who he was. I said, "Doc, thank you for your time. Because I ain't know what just happened." I mean, I'm confused. You mean to tell me that I have been away from my daughter for 3 months and I came all the way to Honduras to get cursed out by the person that I'm trying to travel with? I ain't understanding. So we walking down the steps. I couldn't wait till we get out the door. We got out the door. G walked us down the steps and then he went back up. And I said, "Bro, what just happened, man? What just happened?" He said, oh, with a straight face, calm. He said, "Oh, that man tripping." He tripping? Huh? I said, "Bro, he just what?" I said, "You mean tell me this is what the, boy, I thought you said you cooked and you lived with him." Man, I'm confused. I'm lost, y'all. I'm lost. So he knows not to follow me right now because he goes one direction and I just go sit in G's truck. I'm confused. I'm lost. What the fuck just happened? So I say it was less than 10 minutes. I heard G coming down the hill. He said, "Where's Atum?" He said, "In the truck." G gets to the truck before him. He jumped in. He said, "Atum, don't you worry about it. You good." He said, "I can't talk about it right now." I'm confused even more now. Okay? Because I just heard what this man just did. But I know G real. So my mind is just like, damn, what the fuck? wait till you tell me what. So, get back to the house. I already know what it is. G told me. He said, Atum, you don't got to leave. He said, but your partner do. So, but he didn't tell that in front of my partner. So, I said, you know what? Nah, man. I said, I came over here with him. I said, just let me go. Because I'm confused. I just got to understand why you lie. Like, what's... So anyway, we go to this another house. I opened up the door. There were eggs all over the walls. Eggs. I go open up the back door. A goddamn bat fell. A dead bat fell out the door. We didn't have electricity nor water for 3 days. I'm out here in the jungles of Honduras. I couldn't eat. I couldn't bathe for 3 days. So, moving right along, fast forwarding. Something happened between we finally get some running water. Finally get a chance to get some food. We go to the fruit stand and I paid for some fruit. And my partner had said, no, he didn't say that. He had fell asleep. And I woke up and I bust open the watermelon, cut half of it, ate half of it, and wrapped the other half up to save it for him. The dude got up. He walked from his bed to his bathroom, and I say, hey, bro, I cut the watermelon open for you. No, I said I ate half of the watermelon, and I left half of it in there for you. The brother stopped walking and looked at me and said, what you do that for? Mind you, I'm in the bed. Like, I'm in my bed. I got up, I said, what you say? He said, I don't understand why you had to cut the watermelon. All the other fruit was in there. Oh, I got out of bed now. I'm going towards him like, because I'm angry. I didn't snap. But then I caught myself because I know he had just stabbed his foot. He had just dropped a big ass knife on his foot. So, and it won't worth it. I wanted to be the bigger person. So you know what? I got out, went out, walked outside, calmed myself down, and I called G. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. This is actually when they're celebrating one of the biggest days over there for Easter. He said, man, I'm down here with my family in Sambo. He said, well, everything good? He said, because I come get you. I said, nah, G. I said, nah, I'm good. He said, I'll be home at 10:30. I told him what happened, whatever. I said, man, I got to go. He said, I'll be home at 10:30. Meet me there. And I was there. That showed me, like, y'all just don't know. Like, that made me feel so, like, trustworthy, and I couldn't do nothing but be loyal to that dude. You understand? Why? Simply because, like Doc asked him, he said, do you trust him? He said, Doc, with all due respect, when I come down here and I be filming with you all day and I be filming you and we be talking or whatever, he said, Atum is at my house with my wife and my daughter. He said, Atum sleeps 3 feet, maybe 4 feet away from my daughter. He said, I trust that man with my life. That's how I was able to come back. He said, bring him back. So I was so grateful for that, you know, just because G was real. It wasn't like he went in there to go paint a facade or a picture. He just told the truth. So from that moment, I was able to travel with Doc and becoming the first person ever to travel and cook at his lectures. I mean, I'm so grateful for it. I mean, I know what's supposed to happen, but yet who it happened with, that's what I'm grateful for. Because I'm still with that brother to this day. And it has shown me that, because he always says something to me. He always says this. He says, I'd rather somebody not like me for telling them the truth than to lie to them. Because you may never forgive me for lying to you. And that stuck with me when that brother told me that. So, okay, now so I'm forever grateful for Mr.G, you know, coming into my life, you know, and coming into his life, you know. So we help each other vibrate higher, you know. So it's just one hand washes the other. We brothers from another mother, you understand? So now I'm traveling with Doc. I'm excited. First place was New Jersey. I didn't know how this was gonna be. So I got my brother to come. I'm like, yeah, we can handle this. We talking about 600 people there that day? About 600 or more. I looked at my brother. I said, bro, we in trouble. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna make an announcement. I said, get your food before you go in, because there might not be none when you come out. And just for sure, they did the opposite. Some did and some didn't. And the ones that did, they was doubling it up, tripling it up, quadrupling it up on the plates. So, you know, and had a wonderful experience, you know. Got to travel with them to go to Chicago. At that time, me and Maxine, Dr. Sebi's sister, we were friends before on Facebook, before I started traveling with Doc. She just was seeing that, giving gratitude to a young man, giving acknowledgement to her brother, and how hard I was going for him. And once I made the announcement that I was traveling with Doc, she inboxed me. And she said, I'm gonna come to Chicago because I want to meet you. I said, okay, that's cool. I'm not thinking she coming to Chicago to meet me. She coming to Chicago because her brother there. She came back to that kitchen and she said, and she stuck her hand out and she gave me a hug. She said, my brother don't do too much business with men, okay? She said, do you know that you and Mr. G are the first people to do business with that man as males? She said, when you made that announcement, she said, that said a lot about you. She said, that said a lot about you. She said, so I wanted to meet you. And like I was blown. I mean, I felt, so much warmth in my heart from that, you know. So, doing what I'm doing, cooking, got sold out the food, and had the honor to be able to travel with him and go to Louisiana, Detroit, and during that time, like I want to clarify something, because a lot of people think just because I was around Doc, he said, and I was a student. No, that wasn't the case. If you ask the right questions to Doc, he would answer. So having awareness and asking the right questions, it inspired me, because Doc kept saying on his lectures, I'm not a herbalist, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healer. So I'm like, dang, you got it. But I'm not understanding yet what I'm gonna say. So I'm like, dang, you gotta be something. So he keep talking about alkaline acid. So I ended up creating a title called Alkatrition. I created it in the honor of Doc, and I put a definition with it. An instrument of healing and a facilitator in the healing process, helping individuals integrate self-awareness, self-responsibility, and reflections in their lives. I created that in the honor of Doc. I gave it to him in 2014 when we was in that room in DC. And he looked at me and he said, I like that, young man. He said, I like that. And from there, I was like, yeah, that was it. So I ended up creating that word, and we own it now. You know, we're not walking around here wanting to call ourselves these titles. And I understand what Doc was saying. That's why he didn't label himself, because he didn't get caught up in titles. And I understood that. So I said, okay, let us at least create something that we own, and we can say that we did that. So that's what I did, and I created that in the honor of him. And I'm forever grateful, you know, and not looking back, I'm here to help people stop suffering, get from what they call living in hell back to wellness, you know. So, and remember, always take it one day at a time. Never exert yourself, never put pressure on yourself, because you're only doing this for you. Always understand that. I would like to thank you all for spending some time with the Alkatrition Atum Dre of Alkaline Gourmet and listening to my journey. And always remember, let's begin to grow through life instead of go through life. Heart you all, and make sure you have a wonderful, healthy every day.